How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another video. Today we go over 7 amazing open world bosses in New World that you can easily solo that drop big ticket bind on equip items they can make a ton of gold off of. But first, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. These open world bosses I'm going to show you will all have a chance at dropping at least one big ticket bind on equip item that you can then sell on the trading post for a good chunk of cash. It will also be easy enough to do solo if you have average gear and are at max level, so no bosses that'll take you like 10 minutes to solo. But this is not recommended if you haven't hit level cap yet. Don't worry though, I'll throw in one very easy level 40 boss that you can still do if you're not max level, so look out for that one. But like with every gold making method in New World, prices will differ in every server, so it's important you check the trade post first before going out and doing any method. I'll have an image of all the big ticket items you'll be hunting for displayed on screen now, so you can check on the trading post which one goes for the most in your server, and then go after it. Feel free to use the timestamps below to jump around to the boss of your choosing. It is worth noting, however, that even though certain items may sell for more in your server than others, it can still be beneficial to go for less valuable items if the boss has a lower spawn time, the item is more in demand, or if the boss has a ton of valuable resources around its spawn. That's why it's important to watch every boss. You'll not only be given the big ticket items to look out for, but you'll also be provided with spawn times, what kinds of resources are around the spawn, other items of value to look out for from said boss, and how to get to them as well. Also, it's worth switching up which bosses you grind from time to time, as you get a few of each big ticket item, so when it comes to selling them, you can put a couple of different ones up at once, and make the whole selling process go faster. You don't want to end up waiting to sell 10 of the same item. Now, before jumping into the first boss, let's quickly go over a couple of quick tips and tricks when starting your grinds. For starters, if you're heading out to grind a boss, and you really want to maximize things, you can even throw on some luck gear and consume some luck food to squeeze every little thing you can out of your grind. I don't think it really helps that much, as the luck system is a tad broken, but it's an option. The same goes for the resources around said bosses. If you have maxed out gathering gear for all of the gathering skills, this will improve your gold per hour significantly as well. Just switch to it before gathering the resources, then go back to your boss killing gear. You can even go grind PvP flagged for additional luck boosts, but if you do so, and other people are grinding in the same location, you won't be able to group up. And if you do go PvP flagged, or you're newer to the game, you can always set up a camp just outside any boss spawns, so if you do end up dying for any reason, you can always spawn back really close by. Also, if you want to stay ultra efficient on your grinds, these bosses are a great time to use your daily topaz gypsum attunement potions to get all of your free daily topaz gypsums, so you can get those extra gypsum orbs. Boss number 1 is especially good for this. You'll also be getting your daily obsidian gypsums from some of these bosses as well. And finally, I also like to throw on a territory standing music buff whenever I go grind out these bosses, just to get my standing up a bit on the grind as well. We can also use other music buffs that might be more valuable to you. With that all out of the way, let's head on over to boss number 1. And this has been a favorite of mine for a long time, Sesa the Yeti. The big ticket item you're looking for from Sesa is the Weaponsmith shoes, but he also has a ton of great resources around him. What makes this boss especially amazing to grind is his incredibly low respawn time of 1 minute. It means you can get tons of kills in without much wait time, getting lots of chances at those shoes. This boss is also one of my favorite places to come to use my daily gypsum attunement potions, as he's quick to kill, easy to get to, and I have a chance of getting a very valuable item on my server in the meantime. He does not drop obsidian gypsum though. Now, to get to him, you're going to want to teleport into the Serenity Shrine fast travel point over an Ebonscale Reach, and then run down to the Yeti Cave, Serenity Sanctuary, which he will spawn inside of. He's very easy to solo, especially when you get the hang of his moves, but to start with, if you find the mobs inside giving you any issues, using a ranged weapon to lure him out of the caves and fight him alone might be your best option, or dealing with the mobs before going after him. Once you have him killed, there's a 1 minute respawn until he's back up, but if you don't want to spend this time AFK, you can always run around this area looting all the nice resources. As you can see on screen, there's lots of star metal, platinum, hemp, ironwood, and a violet prism bloom as well, so you can boost your gold per hour significantly with those, especially if you're going dry on your drops. When it comes to his drop table, other than the Weaponsmith shoes, he also drops the Taii gear, which is a pretty decent 700 gear score gear as stepping stone equipment, but since it can't be upgraded past that, I don't really think that's worth going after. He also can drop a legendary void gauntlet as well, which is just nice to salvage for free dark matter. But let's move on to boss number 2, or should I say 2 and 3, because they spawn right next to each other, and that's Putris and Lost Alchemist Krockes. These guys are another favorite of mine. Not only do both of these bosses spawn right next to each other, but they both have their own big ticket items. Putris drops the Artisan Jewelcrafter's hood, and Krockes drops the engineering gloves. That's what makes this grind so great. 2 chances at big ticket items every spawn, and with a spawn time of roughly 3 minutes, you'll find yourself getting tons of items in no time at all. Now, to get to them, you're going to want to teleport into the main town in Reekwater, and follow the path over to Mosswater Borg. They will both spawn here. These 2 are extremely easy to solo, even though there are 2 of them, even easier than Sesa, so this is a great spot for new players to come and start off to get the feel of things. The only annoying thing about them is the sticky purple substance they shoot out onto the ground, which will slow you down, and the coffin move Krockes does, which is just a damage sponge, but other than that, they go down fast. The only real downside of this spot is the fact that there's very little resources close by to go after, as seen on screen. which is why I usually go here when I want some AFK time to get other things done, killing the boss and going AFK for 3 minutes until they respawn again. The extra loot you get from skinning Putris every kill is a nice bonus too. If you do really want to go here and not be AFK though, running to those Azoth springs around the area can be very profitable, as Azoth water usually holds its value very well. But if you're fine with being AFK a bit, just jump on the rocks across from them and wait for them to come back up. When it comes to their drop table, other than the big ticket items, they also can drop Riptide gear, which is decent, but can't be upgraded past 700, and Putris can drop some legendaries as well, which you can always salvage for dark matter. Other than that, you can get the obsidian and topaz gypsum from them, making this a great spot to use for your daily gypsum. And they also drop ectoplasmic essence as well, which is used to upgrade the lost combat trophy. But now, let's move on to boss number 4. I threw this one in for those of you who are newer players and may not have hit max level yet, but still want to start grinding bosses, and that's Broadpaw the bear. There's multiple versions of this bear, but the high level one is very difficult, so we'll stick to the very easy level 41 for this video. The big ticket item you're going for from Broadpaw is the Weaver's shirt, but with a spawn time of 6 minutes, there'll be a lot of downtime to be had at this grind spot, and therefore less chances at the shirt. To get to him, you want to teleport into the Mallory's Shrine fast travel point in Weaver's Fen, and head a bit to the east to Broadpaw's den. He'll be patrolling there outside of his cave. This is by far the easiest boss of the lot to kill. You can pretty much kill him before he even reaches you if you're waiting for him to spawn from inside his cave, and if you're using ranged weapons. I highly recommend this for lower levels that still want to get in on this gold making method while it's hot. Also, for those of you that want large AFK times in between kills. As for the resources around him, it's not amazing, unless you like honey, nuts, iron, gold, bumble blossoms, or brown prisma blooms. But if they have any value on your server, it can be an added bonus. Plus you get the XP and resources from skinning him each kill, which will add up. Or you could just skip the resources altogether and maximize your AFK times. The same goes for his drop table. It isn't amazing, other than the Weaver's shirt, but there's some legendaries you can salvage for dark matter, and a couple of epic weapons that look decent enough for transmog. Plus, you can drop some low-level trade skill gear as well, so maybe those can be of use to you, or sell for a little bit in your server. He won't be dropping any gypsum for you though, if that was something you were after. But let's move on to boss number 5, and I've got another double boss for you, so it's actually 5 and 6. Plus, you can even merge it with the next boss for a triple boss. But let's go over the initial 2 first, and that's Articulon the Unshackled and Mozrul the Herald. The big ticket item you're looking for from Articulon is the Weaponsmith's pants, and from Mozrul, the Tanner pants. With an incredibly short respawn time of 1 minute for these two guys, you will find yourself getting tons of kills of this duo in no time at all. These two are now really easy to get to, since a new fast travel point has been added in the Shrine of the Herald, so just teleport into that in Great Cleave, and right next to it, you'll find these two chilling by Lodestone Grom. Articulon is hiding in the Orichalcum vein, so mine him out, and Mozrul is patrolling around it. If you wanted to, you don't need to take them on at the same time, which just makes it even better of a spot. Simply take out Mozrul first, before mining out Articulon. This duo used to be incredibly difficult to solo, but since being nerfed, they're now a piece of cake, once you get used to their mechanics. You can even take them on both at once if you feel like doing that. Plus, if you die, the respawn shrine is right there, so it's so easy to get back to them. It is worth noting though, that if you do not have at least the mining level of 150, you will not be able to get Articulon out, and will only be able to grind Mozrul, but it's not that hard to go grind out 150 mining. When it comes to other resources around these guys, it's extremely dry, except for a couple of chests, and you don't even get the Orichalcum from mining out Articulon, but because their spawn time is so low, you won't have much time for farming resources anyway. As for their drop tables, other than the big ticket items, you can stand to earn lots of legendaries from these guys, so be stacking up the dark matter, and a lot of them look pretty sick too, so great for transmog, even if they can't be upgraded to max gear score. Plus, they have some really good trade skill gears that they drop as well. Not quite the highest tier version, but very good ones that you can use until you get the max level gear, or you can sell on for some additional coin. And you can also get the corrupted crest from them as well, which can be used to upgrade corrupted combat trophies. They don't drop any gypsum though, if that was what you were after. Now, because they spawn so fast, it's not really worth combining all 3 bosses together, but if you ever got tired of these two, or got too many of their drops, and wanted to switch it up a bit, you could run just up the road and farm out boss number 7 for a bit, and that's the Unhallowed Soul of Murkrad. The big ticket item you're looking for from Unhallowed is the Chef's Gloves, and this is another boss with a 1 minute respawn timer, so he's great for farming. To get to him, you can just follow the path up from the previous 2 bosses, using the Shrine of the Herald and Great Cleave, all the way to this area just beside Gorik Bori Road, or you can walk over from the Bastion Outpost as well, if you're just coming for this boss, which will be slightly faster. This is another really easy boss to solo, and thanks to the short spawn time, you won't have to spend much time AFK. As for the resources around it, again, it's pretty dry, as you can see on screen. Most of this area is, but you can always grab some chests and run up for star metal while you wait if you really want to. Plus, you can skin Unhallowed after every kill, which will just be adding to your gold per hour significantly, especially if you have moat perks on your tools. When it comes to the drop table, other than the big ticket item, there's the usual legendaries that can get you some dark matter when salvaged, and some elites that look pretty cool for the transmog as well. Plus, you also drop some trade skill gear, not quite as high level as the previous 2 bosses, but still some decent ones that can fetch you a bit of gold. Or, he may even drop a corrupted crest, like the previous bosses, which is used to upgrade corrupted combat trophies. And like the previous bosses as well, he does not drop gypsum, so keep that in mind. But that covers 7 amazing bosses in New World that you can solo farm for big ticket items that will net you tons of gold. Let me know which are your favorite to farm, and if I missed out on any good ones. I'll eventually put together a part 2 to this video, for some more bosses you can go after. Also, if the video was of any help, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video, and a massive shout out to all the channel members and patrons seen on screen now. Links on how to become one in the video description. If you'd like to see a part 2 to this video, with more bosses to farm, if it's available, click on the video to the left. Or, if you'd like to learn more about the best ways to make gold in New World, click on the video to the right.